I'm MWG and let's get right into the tech news. If you overall know the company Apple, you know they're not an apologetic company, especially when sometimes they're found in the wrong. They sometimes just forget about it and move on. But with this time, with the batteries, yes, the batteries, they're in the wrong. I perfectly admit it. Apple should give you the option whether they should slow down your phone or not. Apple is facing 25 civil lawsuits. This is a major problem for them. Apple had to address it somehow, some way, because people were misinformed and people were sure complaining and making fun of Apple, as they kind of should. This was a total mistake by Apple and people are not going to forgive them for a long time. But you know Apple's fan base, they still are going to buy iPhones, and that's what people are going to do. In case you never seen my video about Apple slowing down the iPhones, there's a little catch to this whole segment of Apple slowing down iPhones. Yes, they slow it down, but you could speed up your phone if you just put a brand new fresh battery inside your phone. Before this incident, this whole incident of Apple coming out and saying they slow down older iPhones, the price to replace their battery was $80. Apple was for sure 100% making money off of that $80 price tag. But since all of the controversy, Apple has lowered the price down to $30. You still may be thinking, oh, Apple's making a profit out of that $30. Well, Apple is for sure 100% not making profit out of those $30. I mean, it just makes sense if you think about it. $80 profit for sure. Check that mark for Apple. Apple wants to make profit. But for $30, they're sacrificing themselves so they could get out of the controversy, which is, good and bad. Good for us, the consumer, is bad for them. I'm going to fairly easily break down the probable cost for a battery replacement, which I think they're losing money on, but to be fair, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for the public audience I have that they're breaking even. So they're putting into the money that they're getting out of it. Alright, let's break down this cost for this lithium battery replacement now that it's $30. And Apple isn't really cutting corners on this. They're not degrading their quality of batteries. They're keeping the exact same quality of batteries. So here's what I think on this. You could probably put $20 for a lithium battery altogether. The cost of making it in China, shipping it over to the US, that all costs $20. Not forget the lithium battery itself. But then where's the other $10 coming from? And that's when you have to pay the Apple employee. Let me just make this little comment. I'm not really sure how much Apple pays their employees. I know it's a good amount. I'm not saying it's minimum wage, but it's probably not that much above minimum wage. So for the cost of the employee replacing the battery, I'm going to put it around $10 since it only takes about 20 minutes, if that long. I know they have a lot of batteries to replace. It probably should be faster, but $20, let's put it at that. So there you have it, Apple breaking even. $10 to pay the employee and then $20 for the lithium battery. And these are conservative numbers because I want to say Apple's breaking even, which they're probably actually losing money, which kind of proves my point a little bit more. But I'm just going to prove it for my general audience out there that they're breaking even. Apple sure does have $200 billion in the bank account, so they could probably lose money for a while and still do fine, but they're losing money on this. And Apple losing money on this is just kind of prove its point. They're the only company out there that has admitted that. Samsung, OnePlus, other companies have said that they don't slow down their phones to improve battery life, but Apple's the only company to do so. And this is kind of taking a risk-reward situation. This right now in the public eye, because they're not really that informed on this topic, they're gonna think that this hurts their iPhone usage. So that's gonna hurt the sales. But on the other hand, this might pull them to buy the iPhone. Many people are for sure gonna doubt this, but Apple slowing down the processor is going to preserve the battery life for whatever it can. It's not going to hurt the battery life that much like in Samsung and other companies. So that's one reason why this little incident is another reason to buy an iPhone, but there's another reason to draw away from an iPhone, and that's because it's slowing down your phone. Either way, I know you could replace your battery in your phone and your processor goes back to the normal factory clock speed, but people may not want to replace their battery, so their phone is going to slowly slow down. And many people don't want to deal with this situation in any case. For Apple to turn this into a positive thing for everyone out there that has iPhones, Apple should have to do two things. Only two things. Number one is to give an option to the people. Whether you want a slower phone to preserve the battery life or a faster phone to hurt the battery life, Apple should give that option, because options are never that bad. And people won't be like, oh no, Apple slows down your phone, oh no. If there was an option for it, the general public wouldn't be misinformed on this topic, right? That would make sense. And second, Apple should come out with a software update telling you the health of your battery, let's say at 80% of the full capacity, so you know whether to get a battery replacement. And they should also tell you whether the health of the battery is affecting the phone's processor, making your phone slower or faster or the same. Apple should do these two things, because Apple lowering the cost of the battery replacement to $30 instead of $80 is a good job on you. You're taking a sacrifice, but there's ways to prove this system. I'm all for giving companies a second chance. I mean, I gave OnePlus a second chance with the OnePlus 5T. So let's do the same thing with Apple. They messed up saying they're slowing down iPhones. People were so misinformed on that topic. It was crazy. I want to see how Apple is going to improve this problem. So make sure you smash that subscribe right here to stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.